Did you know Louisiana's legal system is rooted in ancient Rome, not England like the rest of the US? That's thanks to the Justinian Code, a legal project from the 6th century. While most of America follows English common law, Louisiana's civil law tradition traces back to Emperor Justinian's, a legal blueprint that's shaped societies for over 1,500 years. The fact that a decision made in Constantinople still affects property disputes in New Orleans is mind-blowing. Justinian's Code wasn't just about cleaning up old laws, it was a revolutionary act that provided the foundation for legal thought for centuries. This story isn't just legal history, it's about how one emperor's vision for order still shapes our world today. So, what's a legal code? You might have heard the term before, but what does it really mean, and why does it matter? A legal code is more than just a list of rules. It's a systematic collection of laws, a kind of master rulebook for society, designed to make the law clear, organized, and accessible to everyone, from judges to ordinary citizens. It's the backbone of how a civilization functions, helping people know what's expected and what's forbidden. Enter Justinian I, the ambitious Byzantine emperor who ruled from 527 to 565 AD. Justinian wasn't just interested in military conquests or expanding his empire's borders. He dreamed of restoring the Roman Empire's former glory, not just with armies and grand buildings, but with a unified, rational legal system that would stand the test of time. At the time, Roman law was a tangled mess, centuries of decrees, legal opinions, and statutes, many of them contradictory, outdated, or simply forgotten. Imagine trying to govern a vast empire with laws that even the experts struggled to understand. Justinian saw this legal chaos as a real threat to stability, justice, and the very future of his empire. Without clear laws, how could anyone expect fairness or order? Determined to fix this, he set out on a massive project to create a single, consistent body of law for his entire realm. He gathered the best legal minds and scholars to help him sort through centuries of legal confusion. This wasn't just about administration or paperwork. It was about leaving a legacy. Justinian wanted to show his power, his vision, and his commitment to justice for generations to come. By codifying the law, Justinian aimed to streamline government, strengthen imperial control, and create something that would outlast any monument or military victory. The result? The Corpus Juris Civilis, a monumental legal code that would echo through history, shaping legal systems for centuries. It was a bold move to bring order to chaos. And remarkably, it worked, setting a new standard for law and justice that still influences us today. How do you organize 1,000 years of legal chaos? Justinian assembled a team of legal experts led by Tribonian. Their first task: sift through centuries of imperial laws, discard the obsolete, resolve contradictions, and modernize the language. In just a year, they published the 12 books of updated imperial edicts. But that was just the start. Next, they tackled the writings of Rome's greatest jurists, extracting the best legal wisdom from thousands of books. This was like having the statutes, but needing the case law to explain them. Justinian's team was tasked with creating a new, organized collection from 3 million lines of text. It was an intellectual feat that preserved the soul of Roman law. Tribonian, Justinian's chief legal officer, was the mastermind behind the codification. Despite accusations of corruption, his organizational genius was unmatched. He led a commission of 16 experts to curate the best of Roman legal thought, cutting, editing, and reorganizing thousands of juristic writings. Their controversial process, interpolation, meant actively updating and combining ancient texts for modern use. In just 3 years, they produced the 50 books, nearly 10,000 fragments from Rome's greatest legal minds. Alongside, they created a concise textbook for law students. Together with these works formed the core of Justinian's legal revolution. It was a monumental achievement in legal history. What did the Justinian Code actually cover? To truly understand its impact, we need to look at the everyday realities of Roman life and how the law shaped them. Nearly every aspect of life was touched by the code, from the bustling markets to the quiet corners of Roman homes. It defined people's status, citizens, freedmen, slaves, and the rights and responsibilities of the family patriarch, who held significant authority over his household. Property and inheritance laws were detailed, distinguishing ownership from mere possession and setting out clear rules for passing wealth and land from one generation to the next. The code set out rules for contracts, offer, acceptance, and intent, principles still central to law today. Merchants, craftsmen, and ordinary citizens relied on these rules to do business and resolve disputes. It addressed torts and crimes, from oxen goring neighbors to theft and assault, even distinguishing murder from manslaughter. Justice was not just for the elite, but for all classes of Roman society. The code's Christian influence was new. It regulated the church, protected orthodoxy, and shaped marriage and divorce laws, reflecting the changing spiritual landscape of the empire. It was a synthesis. Roman logic filtered through a Christian lens, blending ancient traditions with new beliefs to create a unique legal system. The result was a comprehensive, systematic legal tradition, carefully organized and preserved for future generations. It gave us a window into Roman society's values and struggles, revealing how law and daily life were deeply intertwined. And its structure still underpins modern law, reminding us that the legacy of Rome continues to shape our world today. The is actually 4 works: the imperial laws, the legal opinions, the student textbook, and the new laws. The was the statute book. The explained the reasoning behind the laws. The gave beginners a clear introduction to legal principles. The were new laws issued after the main works, many in Greek, showing the law was still evolving. Together, these formed a living, adaptable legal system. Judges, lawyers, and students all relied on these texts. The structure was logical, comprehensive, and accessible. It set the standard for future legal codes, and it was designed to grow with the times. After the reign of Emperor Justinian, his monumental code gradually faded from memory in the Western world, as Europe descended into the chaos of the early Middle Ages. Yet, in the Byzantine East, the code endured, preserved in the libraries and courts of Constantinople, quietly shaping the laws of the empire for centuries. In the 11th century, a remarkable rediscovery took place in Italy, as scholars unearthed ancient Roman legal texts that had been forgotten for generations. This sparked a wave of excitement and curiosity among intellectuals and jurists. At universities like Bologna, professors began to teach Roman law systematically, igniting a revival that would transform European legal thinking. Scholars saw in Justinian's Code a source of universal legal principles, a foundation that could bring order and reason to the patchwork of local laws. As these ideas spread, Roman law's influence began to ripple outward, reaching courts and kingdoms across the continent. This revival laid the groundwork for the civil law tradition, a system based on written codes and rational principles. Countries like France and Germany eagerly adopted these ideas, weaving Roman law into their own legal systems. Spain and many other nations soon followed, each adapting Roman principles to their unique cultures. Centuries later, the Napoleonic Code, directly inspired by Justinian's work, would become a new model for modern law. This code, blending ancient wisdom with Enlightenment ideals, shaped the legal systems of the modern era. As Napoleon's armies marched across Europe, they carried his code and the spirit of Roman law, with them. The Napoleonic Code spread rapidly, and with it, the legacy of Roman law reached new lands and peoples. Through colonial expansion, this legal tradition crossed oceans, taking root in Latin America, as well as in Africa and Asia, where colonial powers imposed these codes on their territories. In this way, Roman law, revived and reimagined through Justinian, conquered the world a second time, shaping societies far beyond its original borders. Its principles became the backbone of countless modern legal systems, influencing how justice is understood and delivered. Even today, most of the world's laws can trace their roots back to this ancient project, connecting us to a legal tradition nearly 2,000 years old. That's the enduring power and legacy of the Justinian Code, a testament to the lasting influence of Roman law on our world. The Justinian Code's influence is everywhere, especially in civil law countries where written codes govern daily life. Even in common law nations, Roman legal ideas seeped into contract and property law. The structure of modern legal education, starting with basics, then advancing, mirrors Justinian's. The code professionalized law, making it a science to be studied, not just a craft. Its logical, systematic approach shaped the way we think about justice and fairness. Every time you sign a contract or register property, you're touching Justinian's legacy. The code's real gift is its structure and belief in organized, accessible law. The Justinian Code is more than ancient history. It's one of humanity's most influential intellectual achievements. By preserving and organizing Roman law, Justinian created a bridge across time, ensuring legal wisdom survived the fall of empires. The code promoted the rule of law, a system where rules, not rulers, govern society. Its structure became the blueprint for nation building, administration, and economic growth. Justinian's military empire faded, but his empire of law endures worldwide. The code's legacy is reason, order, and the ongoing human search for justice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories about the hidden forces shaping our world.